Well, when it rains, it pours. Kind of literally, but not really. This is the LT-5 engine. It only comes in the C4 ZR-1 Corvette. They made 6,000 of them over a 5-year period. And they're very unique. And by unique, I mean hard to find parts for. And people who know how to work on them. So, I have a no start issue. Key goes on, nothing. So I checked what they call the VAT system, which is the built-in security system. If the chip on the key isn't being read properly, the car won't start, it'll activate, you have to wait, etc., etc. That is not my problem. The next issue that they have is the starter. So I thought, well, I'll crawl up under the car, give a little tap on the starter. It might be hanging up, sometimes it happens. Couldn't find it. Wasn't under the car. No starter, nowhere. So I went online and actually I went in my book first and it was telling me things I didn't really believe or understand, which is weird because it's the GM manual. Anyway, I'm just a skeptic by nature. So it turns out the starter for this is under the plenum, back here underneath the coil packs. There's like this huge valley in the engine between the heads, and it's down at the back at the bottom. So what happens is the Chevrolet put a drain hole back there so that, say you wash your engine, the water will drain out, everything's good. Well, over time, debris can get caught up in that single hole and kind of fill up the area, cause corrosion in your starter terminals, and cause a no start issue. I experienced this when I first bought the car after I washed the engine. Went away, totally went away, didn't understand it at the time. And now it's back because I got the car back from paint, finished washing the engine, and then it's doing this again. So my guess is it's wet in the valley of the engine. The hole's plugged. Chevrolet has a solution where you drill a second hole to prevent that from happening. I don't know if it's been done on this car or not. Starters are very difficult to find for this car. Haven't found one yet. On the other hand, it came with a starter, but it looks slightly used. So I'm going to take this apart and take a look at what the starter's in there, see if it looks corroded or if it looks new. Take the terminals apart if the starter looks fine, clean them up, fix any drain hole problems that there might be, and then put it together and see if that solves the problem. I didn't plan on doing this. I hope to actually sell it or get it for sale this week. I'm going to start on this today and I may have it done today. I don't know, but stay tuned. It's always an adventure. Well, look at that little fella down in there, just hanging out. You know, it kind of looks a little rusty, a little corrosion. So originally, whoops, I have my foot caught in here. Be a gymnast to work on this thing. So originally, I was looking at this starter, you know, and it's got a little grime on it here, just a little tiny bit. It's got a little stuff going on there. It doesn't look exactly clean. It was in a box, like a starter box. This looks like a whole lot better than that fella. So, you know, I'm probably gonna pop it in there, see what happens. instead of trying to just clean the terminals on this one. I may test that other starter first just to see, but anyway, there you go. So here's the old one versus the possibly used one. Just kind of comparing the way the teeth look. You can see, you know, some wear on the sides of the old one. There's a little bit of that on the new one, but not really. So anyway, I'm gonna bench test this one and see if it works. If it does, pop it in there. Let's take a look on the valley here. Since we've taken the starter out. Oh, well, that's a tool, that's mine. So you can see there's supposed to be a hole drilled right here, and I would say if there's one there, it is clogged up. So that would make sense that maybe it's holding some moisture in there and kind of, as it evaporates, causing corrosion on the other one. Actually, one not looking too bad, and that debris down in there, that's not terrible, but we'll get that cleaned out and yeah, go from there. All right, got her cleaned out. You can now easily see the hole there. Tried to clean it out as much as I possibly could, but yeah, looks a lot better under here. Just kind of compared to what it did, feels good to get it all cleaned up from 30 years of not being cleaned up. So we'll get busy bench testing the starter and then go from there. Okay, it's back together roughly 4 hours later-ish. As far as I know, all of the 20 million, sorry, that's an exaggeration. It's probably only 20 vacuum hoses and harnesses and stuff are back together. This little hose here is dry rotted. I think it's just exhaust EGR crap, so I'll replace that later. But let's see if it starts, and if it does, if there's any important things leaking out of it that shouldn't be.